Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of this week's episode of The Originals on the CW. This week we've seen Season 4, Episode 9, which was called Queen Death. And I want to apologize for the lateness, as I apologize for the lateness of the Supernatural review. Just again, work, mucking things up, I guess, if that's a word. Um, but just work every week. My schedule is pretty back and forth, so a lot of these things get derailed and delayed, unfortunately. But I still try to make a point to talk about shows like this, Supernatural, and others as soon as I can. And this week's episode I thought was pretty good. I will say the Hollow storyline is still kind of... It's starting to become a little bit mad to me, honestly. I'm not really liking it that much. I appreciate the time they're taking to build it up and everything. And there's been some good moments because of it, but I just don't think the Hollows as memorable as threats like Michael. Definitely not Michael, or Dahlia and things like that. I just don't think it's that interesting, to be honest. But it's still been as far as other things go, it's still been a pretty consistently good season. I won't say my favorite, but I do like the just how I do appreciate how they're bringing things together, though, for what it is. And I thought this is probably one of the better episodes of the season as well. They've all been fine, but I did like this one especially because of a moment we got between Klaus and Hope, but also a moment we got between Klaus and Vincent, which is kind of surprising, which we'll talk about in a minute. A lot of this episode revolved around, of course, Elijah, possibly dying, how the Hollow using him as a sacrifice, to gain power and bring her real form back, with the death of him and his, sire line because of it and everything. So that made for, a somewhat intense episode. I don't think any of us were believing they were going to kill off Elijah for good or anything like that, but, it was still fine enough with the way it played out, I guess. And when Elijah supposedly does die, I especially liked Klaus's reaction to it and appreciated how they went about that. And when he's in the casket at the end, just Klaus looking down on him, you can see that building, anger and frustration over, and regret over him, probably not doing more or something in his mind or something. So I like the psychology of that. Joseph Morgan, good as always. Even from all his, yelling and pressuring of Freya, he's still really good acting-wise, I think. It was Joseph Morgan's birthday a few days ago as well, so that's cool. And of course, Marcel is worried about Sophia, or Sophia, however you want to say her name. With her being possessed by a Hollow, he's able to stab her and, kind of free her from it. I think she's still alive, but, we'll find out about that, I guess. And I really like the scenes between Klaus and Marcel over the past few episodes, just how that dynamic's been, kind of concentrated on and everything. I appreciate it even when they don't say anything directly about it, just the way they look at each other sometimes. So I like that. And of course, Freya, meanwhile, this whole episode is trying to do something to, help and save Elijah, with Keelin at her side. So that was pretty good. I do like Freya and Keelin as a couple. I do think Keelan's going to be being just collateral damage at some point. Unfortunately, I think that's pretty easy to see. But, I wouldn't mind if they keep her around for longer. I just think that's what's going to happen. But, I like even Klaus saying, it looks like she found, a nice girlfriend or something. And I do like their scenes together, so I think it works. I'm happy for Freya for now, anyway. Freya, though, unfortunately is not able to do it because when Vincent and Klaus go off, it gets screwed up and, the stone or whatever it is shatters. But with the power of Hope, literally, Hope is able to still sense Elijah's soul on the inside like they had planned on. So again, just showing how powerful and how much potential, Hope does have, so I really like that. And the moment between Klaus and Vincent that I mentioned in, the graveyard and everything, where they were thinking of using Klaus as a sacrifice. Klaus, of course, volunteered himself. And, Klaus is kind of playing on, Vincent's, hatred for him and his family he's had for all this time, expecting Vincent to get one last knock-in at him, but, Vincent actually says, he's actually happy to see him finally living up to what Camille saw in him. So I thought that was actually really touching. I liked the music that went along with it and such. So I like Vincent actually acknowledging that there is this good in Klaus that Cami's seen in him after all. So I really like that. Like I said, Elijah's spirit is inside at the end. I do think they'll find it. It shows next week Haley trying to reach him, mentally and psychologically. So that should be pretty interesting. I just never bought that Elijah was going to die permanently at all, but this should still be interesting. So yeah, overall, if I had to rate this episode, I'd rate it, probably about an 8.8, 8.9 out of 10. I'm almost tempted to put it at a 9 just because of that Klaus and Vincent moment. And also Klaus and Hope, eating those beignets, I thought was nice, as brief as it was. But still a pretty good episode, and what's becoming sort of a lukewarm season for me, but I still enjoyed this one. But yeah, so let me know you guys a lot about it. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Going to be seeing Alien Covenant tonight, and we'll also probably be doing a video on Valor, a new show on the CW this fall. Going to be talking about that a little bit, so yeah, catch you guys for that, and peace.